we must acknowledge that we have a very real and active enemy. And he is out here prowling around like a roaring lion, devouring our young people. And we must sober up and be alert on all occasions. Paul says in Ephesians 6, verses 10 through 13, he says, "Be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on all of God's armor so that you will be able to stand firm against all strategies of the devil. For we are not fighting against flesh and blood enemies, but against evil rulers and authorities of the unseen world, against mighty powers in this dark world, and against evil spirits in the heavenly places. Therefore, put on every piece of God's armor so you will be able to resist the enemy in the time of evil." If you have any vision, you know that the days are indeed evil. And therefore, we must stand firm and we must resist the devil. We have to help our youth do that. They don't know how to do it. I also observe how easy it is for my teenagers to be exposed to ungodly and spiritually toxic content without even trying to be. It is everywhere. And it infuriates me how bold and aggressive Satan has become at attacking our children. The devil has been strategizing how to accomplish his mission to kill, to steal, and to destroy subtly over the years, to where I believe suddenly now he is on full display. More and more each day he is manifesting himself loudly and boldly, trying to capture the minds and hearts of our youth with explicit and uncensored content through various platforms that our kids are exposed to, and may I boldly suggest that we have allowed to infiltrate our very own homes. Our youth are getting sucked in by curiosity and then trapped in fear and tormented by these spirits. I had a 14-year-old girl who said, "I love tapping into the dark world. I love watching these paranormal activities." She said, "But I don't like it that I don't have control over it. And I don't know how to get rid of the demons once I let them in." A 14-year-old man at the detention center, after we did our Bible study one day, he said, "Miss Tabitha, I need to talk to you." He said, "Can you please help me get rid of a demon?" He said, "This demon shows up in my cell every night and it torments me and it taunts me, and I don't know how to get rid of it." Y'all, this stuff is real. And our youth are crying out for our help. And we need to get fired up about it. We need to. And if what I'm about to tell you next doesn't light your fire, my coach used to say, then your wood's wet. One of the major platforms that the devil has infiltrated is through music. And I want to talk about one particular artist, and by the end of this, you'll understand why. How many of you have heard of Lil Nas X? Just a few. Listen closely. Part of one of his music videos portrays him, who is openly gay, being seduced in the Garden of Eden, sliding down a pole from heaven to hell, and twerking on Satan's lap. In just 3 days upon this video release, the video amassed over 38 million views on YouTube. In a press release from Lil Nas X, he suggested that the imagery in the music video was intended to address homophobia. He said he was harnessing his sexuality to seduce the devil and strip him of his power as an evil force, while also dismantling the throne of judgment and punishment that has kept many of us from embracing our true selves. Did you catch that? He is the one who created the Satan Nike shoe with a drop of human blood. His expressed goal was to glorify Satan. He sold 666 pairs of shoes in a matter of seconds. And get this, he admits his core audience is our children. He wrote a children's book about being who you want to be while dressed up as a woman. He did a sing-along with Elmo. He did a virtual performance on the online video game Roblox. Roblox has a huge young audience. The company says over half its users are under 13. And his concert alone drew in 30 million of our young people. He said on one of his music tracks, "Man, I snuck into the game, came in on a horse, I pulled a gimmick, I admit it, I got no remorse." And this guy is making appearances at elementary schools all across our country. I assure you, your kids and your grandkids know exactly who this guy is, because just ask them to sing Old Town Road. I know you've heard it. And we are perpetuating his agenda by merely allowing this stuff to be in our homes. This is one of the most played songs in our schools today. Elementary, middle school, junior high, and high school. We are elevating this guy on a platform through catchy music and lyrics. I'm a very passionate person, if you couldn't tell. This disturbs me, and it disturbs me greatly, and we must beware. But even beyond being aware, we must take bold action. We have to be bold. This isn't the time to play patty cake with the devil. We've been playing patty cake with him for too long. We need people that are willing to say, you know what? Through the power of the Holy Spirit, through the grace of God that goes with me, I will not let the devil kill any more of the youth on my watch. He is taking them as prisoners of war. I challenged every leader this year, if you're going to be on this team, this is what I want you to do. I want you to focus, ask every day, God, who is the one? Help me get one more. Just help me get one more that's been taken captive. And if each one of us will pray that prayer every day, can you imagine the multiplication and how many kids we can rescue by this time next year? If we would just focus on one more. Let us not collude with the devil anymore. Let us not be complicit. The good news is we don't lose, we win. And we have the hope and we have the answer to everything that these kids are faced with. But as Paul teaches us in Ephesians 6, we must stand firm against all the strategies of the devil. We cannot compromise any longer. And we must resist the enemy in the time of evil. And that's what we're going to continue to do at Youth for Christ as long as the Lord has me here in this position. Because I refuse. I'm going to go out there and get as many as I can and snatch them out of the fire. And I'm asking each one of you to come help us do that, because I can't get them all. But together, if you would just envision and imagine how many. We reached 800 with 41 people. I'm not good at math, but if we added 41 more tonight, what's the math of that? I don't know. It's multiplication. So who is with us? Who is with us? God is using this ministry to bring in part of the harvest field. Few quotes from kids and then I'm done. One young lady says, "Miss Tabitha, we are sick of this culture and all the temptations surrounding us. We are tired of it. Help us." There sure is a lot of different people that come in the facility, a young man said, talking about the same thing. Jesus must be real. Another young man at the detention center said one day when asked what stood out to him from the lesson, he says, "Miss Tabitha, it sounds like Jesus is the answer to everything." And I emphatically said, yes, yes, he is. He is the answer to everything. They are starting to see. God is opening up the eyes of their hearts. Of the 20 salvations this year, 6 of those were at YDC, the detention center, just 3 weeks ago. And they boldly stood up and said, "I believe." And their eternity is now secure. Will you help us to continue going to where these kids are? We need you. Will you be part of God's rescue mission through East Alabama Youth for Christ?